we've got Brett Lee and Dean Jones joining us on the show today. Hi, guys. Debutantes on Cricket Connected. Brett, what about the Mumbai Indians? On the schedule, we can see they have 8 games in Abu Dhabi. We know it's spin-friendly. Do they have the bowling unit to be able to exploit those conditions?
Well, they do. And look, I think firstly about playing 8 games in the one venue. You know, I know going back when I came over to India, we played this Champions League. We ended up playing a lot of games in Delhi. We actually won in Delhi. We won the whole tournament. And it was because we actually made that particular ground ours. So focus on what they can do. They've got a good spin attack. They've got some quicks at the top of the order. But to me, it's all about the depth. Bowling on this rough surface, not too dissimilar to what we've seen over here in India, but over there it's a very, very abrasive surface. It might carry through the new ball, but if they've got the bowlers that can find form firstly, and then continue that through those 8 games, they're a really good chance of going back to back here.
For CSK, they have a 6-day gap coming up after just their first 3 matches. Dino, do you think that this is going to help them or hinder them?
It's a good question. I think it comes down to what happens in the first couple of games. They get a couple of wins under their belt, beautiful, have a nice little break, recharge, reboot, have a little think, and then move on. It also does, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot here, but if you do lose, say CSK lose their first 2 games, it gives them 6 days to reboot, to actually sit back and say, all right, this ground is different. We've got the matchups wrong, the pace and bounce at Abu Dhabi. In this time of year will be a lot quicker than it normally is. It is a massive ground. It is big. So the 4s and 6s are going to be difficult to hit for the big power hitters at the end. So they really got to get their matchups right. And that's the most important thing. But you know what? After playing 2 games, nice little 6-day break won't hurt.
And Dino, you know the conditions really well from the PSL. Do you think there are any teams in your mind that stick out that go, okay, these teams would really favor these conditions, these teams not so much?
They're all 3 different grounds. Abu Dhabi's big. It's all about a lot of 2s there and getting spinners to play there because it tends to grip a little bit more. Gee, Dubai is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get with it sometimes. You really don't. And you really got to make sure you read it properly. Sharjah, again, is completely different spin, and its bowlers can get whacked particularly straight. Dubai is a really interesting ground to play on, and you need a quality spinner to do well. But I've always noticed in all the grounds, particularly at Dubai, your guns do well there. The pace and bounce is really good, probably a little bit quicker than most pitches in Mumbai or Delhi or wherever they want to play in India. This will bounce and carry, particularly in the first part of the tournament. Later on, it starts to wear and grip a little bit. But look, I wouldn't like to be facing super quick guys like Pat Cummins and trying to hit him over his head there. I think it's difficult, and the ground is quite big. All these grounds, apart from Sharjah, Abu Dhabi and Dubai, are bigger than everything else they've got in the IPL back in India. So the power hitters have got to bring the power because mishits get caught on these grounds.
You know, any team that's going to play at a venue for a particular amount of games, it might be 7 games or 8 games, they've got to make that their own ground. So they have to use that to their best advantage. So, yes, we start with a clean slate. I think form, a couple of wins can transform into that real good positive form, moving forward. Whichever team grabs it and takes it and runs with it, I think it's really important. So, it's a clean slate. There might be a dark horse that comes from the back and wins this IPL. Maybe the top 4 that we always put forward. Generally, it's always a top 4, top 5 are generally there and thereabouts. But maybe it's a team that you wouldn't expect to win might win on this surface.
The T20 World Cup in 2007. What a journey it's been for MSD since he donned that captain's hat. Brett, you were there. What was your first impression of Captain Dhoni? Did you have any?
Well, he's the only captain that doesn't get flustered. There aren't many captains around the world that don't get flustered. There aren't many captains around the world that don't sweat. I can think of Stephen Fleming. I can think of MS Dhoni. I've never seen MS Dhoni. I'm not sure about you, Dino, but I've never seen Dhoni sweat. He's a freak of nature. He's such a good bloke. He is still on top of his game. So to think that we won't be seeing much of him after this series, and we're really, really disappointing.
And Dino, of course, this is a sort of a new season for MSD because he has retired from international cricket. Do you think we might see a new side to him? Might we see a fiery MSD?
No. He's Captain Cool. He doesn't sweat, honestly. He's just... he hasn't played cricket for 14 months. 14 months. And this is what he's done. He's had the camp back at Chennai, so he's really worried about getting into the groove, teaching some of the young guys to actually, back in quarantine, have to bring the discipline, because there's a lot of discipline to his game. Always has been. I know we see all the big shots, but there's also a lot of discipline. And as a captain, he plays what I call the Cobra effect. So he's quite conservative in his tactics, but he waits for you to make a mistake and the Cobra just goes squeeze. And you make another mistake and he goes squeeze. And that's what he does. People are going to remember what he's done. He's my top 5 Indian players of all time. I just loved him. I've actually opened the batting with him, Binger. Can you believe it? In the T20 match in Bangalore back in 2004. And back then I thought the guy was special. So, look, he's done everything. I got 5 and he got 50.
Very good.
But he was great. And the sound of the ball off his bat is different to most people. No, and I can't tell you what it is, Kira, but it's like warning going, coming out of his hand. Where Binger bowls at 100 miles an hour, it's like an arrow. But when he hits it, it just whistles off his bat.
It's been called the El Clasico of the IPL. Mumbai Indians versus Chennai Super Kings. Dino, what makes this just so satisfying for fans and for all of us? We just relish in this rivalry.
Well, I've been coming to this beautiful country of India 185 times now. And they keep telling me it's the north are the brains and the south are the workers. And I go down south into India and they say they're the brains and the north of the workers. It's the rivalry between North and South India. And I say it's good versus evil. You work out who's good and you work out who's evil. When you do your warm-ups before the match, there's a bit of a bubble. You can tell guys don't talk as much because it's a game on. And it's a bit like England playing Australia, and of course, when India played Pakistan in those games, I've commentated those. Yeah. There's a different feel at that ground. You know, you can't take it away, and this is what you live for as a player, because your career will be measured about what you do against the top teams. Mm-hmm.
And Bingo, we've got 2 of the most successful teams going up against each other. 2 great captains. Who's the better captain?
Oh God. I'll just walk downstairs now.
Put you on the spot there.
The bus. Just throw me into the bus. Who's the best captain? Well, look, what I will say is that someone like a Rohit Sharma has got good stats. I'm not going to pick my favourite captain. I'm just going to say they're both tremendous captains. They're actually both, in all seriousness, they're both different captains, and that's fine. I've played under all different styles of captains. So you got one captain that's super laid back, another captain that's a bit more aggressive in terms of the way that he sets the field, but they both get the job done. So I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm not going to pick at the moment who my favourite captain is, but I've played against both of them, and they're both top quality players, and they're both also got good teams below them, and they want to win this IPL. I can kid you not, whether they're playing for India or whether they're playing for their local Indian Premier League side, they will want to win, and they'll want to make sure that they go out and start very well in this tournament.
KIERON Pollard is coming in having earned the title of Player of the Tournament in the CPL. Mumbai Indians must be excited by this. Does it give them that little bit of an edge over CSK on Saturday night's match?
There's nothing better than having form coming into the IPL, because a lot of the players are coming, honestly, been in lockdown, haven't they? Haven't done anything. So it's imperative that you have some guys that have got some form. Now, KIERON Pollard, he is a special boy, you know. When he's flying, they're doing really well. Can I just say, there are my belief, there are 4 pillars of success in T20 cricket. Number 1, who's your death bowler? He's your number 1 player. And, of course, that's Hardik Pandya or Jasprit Bumrah, for example, doing really well. Number 2, you need your opening batsman doing well. And that's either Quinton or Rohit Sharma. They'll be doing well for Mumbai. And number 3, you need to have a power hitter flying. And KIERON Pollard is flying at the moment. And they've got Hardik Pandya who can whack it. This is scary. And then your 4th pillar is you've got to have a spinner can spin it both ways. And, of course, that's Rahul Chahar. So they've got their 4 pillars of success doing really well. Now, if 3 of those 4 are flying, you'll win most games. I'm telling you right now. But Pollard, you need to have an X factor when guys are bowling to guys like he's a presence. You've got to make sure you do your analytics properly too. He doesn't play spin that well early. But if he gets off to a fly, I'm telling you, him and Andre Russell and these guys, they're hard to stop. But here's the key. They're big grounds, bigger grounds than what they have in CPL, bigger grounds in India. They've got to make sure they get it, most of it, to go for 6, particularly at Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Sharjah, not so. But you've got to make sure you do your homework bowling to Pollard, a colossus. And he's actually getting better and better and never lost a game when captain, ever in the history of T20. He's a very good bloke to have in your team.